When I say Pete, you say Holmes. Pete. Pete.
We're happy to be here. Oh, I'm sorry. I was gonna. What was I gonna tell you? Oh,
You're using old people in technology. Is what you were gonna say.
Yes, I can do that too. But I also met a comedian on a shoot, and I bet you know. People, I was talking to somebody about this recently, where the idea that comedians that have been doing it a long time can kind of tell. They have a sense, like a lady sense, where they're just kind of like that. Girls can tell someone's a scumbag or something. Mm-hmm. Guys can tell if a comedian probably isn't funny. I've been wrong before, but you talk to somebody for 5 minutes and you're kind of like, I bet you're garbage.
Yeah, I was wrong last week.
Really?
I was very wrong last week.
Who?
Kevin Farley.
The 40-year-old middle? I was going to say that no matter who I said.
You had your riff gun loaded. You had that quill pulled. You had that thing all loaded up. And
couldn't wait.
Yeah, it was great.
Kevin Farley. I was just in
He was
Madison,
on the
Wisconsin.
podcast, and he was a sweetheart, and we were going on and on about how hard it must be to do stand-up comedy as Chris Farley's brother, and they look like twins.
Yeah.
And he's on stage, and I said, well, why don't you come down to the Melrose Improv? I do every Tuesday at the Melrose Improv. You come up, do 10 minutes. And then I was like, hey, maybe I bit off more than I could chew. I was being nice.
Yeah.
He's a nice, but you know what? He is nice.
I bet
and
he
when
is.
you hit 40, you're like, as long as they're nice, I don't even care anymore.
Yes.
Just be nice.
Yes.
And he went on stage and he was fucking hilarious.
Really?
He was hilarious. Like, and he's only been doing comedy like 2 years. So then you go from surprised to anger because you think of how bad you were 2 years in.
Well,
He's going, how come every ghost is from the 1800s? Like, there's never like a guy at the end of the hall holding an iPad going, I just got killed Tuesday. Like, they're always holding a lantern from like the 1700s. Like, there's no ghost from like last week.
That's funny.
And it was all stuff like that.
Yeah.
He was so I was completely wrong. And I've been wrong the other way too, which I won't say their names because we'll keep it positive. But who were you wrong with? Who did you meet? Who was the 40-year-old middle? And we'll take his name out and post, or will we?
I wish I knew. I couldn't even tell, although I would withhold it if I could.
You know what? There's a lot of 40-year-old middles.
I know that made that nickname all the meaner. And the kid that said that to me was like 24, so it's like, fuck you, man. I'm a lot closer to 40 than he is.
You're a big headliner though. You do a lot of dates.
Actually, Kevin Farley is at Madison. I was just in Madison, Wisconsin, and I saw his poster, so he's going to be there.
Good. He deserves it. You deserve it.
But you know what's weird is I did that iPad ghost bit, so the crowd's not going to like it.
They won't remember. Totally different crowds.
You think so?
Yeah.
Not that glove. That glove gets a lot of regs. They're going to go, boo.
Regs.
Somebody else.
Whatevs.
Lesbian Val Kilmer did that bit. We don't remember who it was.
You're the lesbian Val Kilmer.
Oh, this is fun. You don't know any of my. God. You don't know any of my stock jokes. I can use them all on you.
I know, like your super smart jokes that I obsess over and go, "This is so funny." Grown-ups eating candy is amazing.
And
when I see people chewing gum, that amazes me. Like I watched that show Gigolos on Showtime, and that guy Brace. He actually fucks with gum. He doesn't take his gum out to fuck.
That's disrespectful.
It's very disrespectful.
That's like that Eminem line where he says, when we fucked, I didn't even take my jewelry off. I was like, we're supposed to take our jewelry off?
Yeah, I don't know. That's weird. I gotta take a necklace off. Otherwise I chip her tooth because it swings. Unless you're wearing a choker, you gotta take, like I got a cross. It's all the way down here.
I don't.
And you don't want Christ swinging around looking at
Jesus
Bush.
on that cross?
Yeah. And
you
Mary.
Had to check.
Yeah. No, I didn't have to check. Jesus and Mary. And
wait, Jesus, Mary's on the cross? What new version of the story is
charm.
this?
Look, it's a charm. It's the Third Testament.
The Third
and
Testament?
In here is one of my wife's baby teeth.
That's really
voodoo,
unsettling.
Man.
It's really unsettling. That's some Billy
voodoo.
Bob Thornton shit.
Now, how
right
come
there.
your tech guy is seems to be
Katie
harder? Tech gal?
It's a tech gal.
You and I,
you like this. You'll appreciate it.
Kissinger didn't work this hard with the Chinese to deliver Nixon.
To get us together?
Than you and I did to actually land this.
I know.
This is surreal that you're sitting here. And you know what? I will say this.
Never gonna happen.
As advertised, you're completely fun. You're as funny as I thought. You're actually funnier than I thought.
Okay.
You're very naturally great.
I farleyed you.
I can't wait to do. I can't wait to do your podcast. But do I have to do 2 hours?
Yeah.
Really? I can't just do 1 hour.
We're about. What does that
30
mean?
minutes in. What do you mean? What does it mean? Matty Boy holds up a sign that says 30 minutes, and you go, "What does that mean?"
Can I tell you when we
What's this code you
when we
use?
get the light on my show? 90 minutes.
90.
We get a 90.
So if I do,
light.
You Made It Weird with Pete Holmes, I got to hang in there for 2 hours.
No.
Can I do a 1 hour?
Yeah.
And then you just do. Oh, but you're bummed. Yeah,
I guess you could.
You should see Val Kilmer with a vagina's face right now. See, I took what you said.
You're breaking
I
my
mixed
heart
it
a little
up.
bit.
I took your snowball. I took a little side off of it.
on my show, we tend to talk about, it's not as, probably not as funny as this show. We tend to get into things like religion. Like I would love to talk to you about that sort of stuff. And those conversations tend to take longer.
Yes.
Is my point.
I've listened to your podcast. It's very funny. It's very effortless. It runs its course. It's not like
it runs long.
It runs long, but it runs its course. It's not like when no one's sitting around going, anyway. By the way, for young comics that have been doing it 2 years, if you don't want to be a 40-year-old middle, don't ever say anyway.
Or what else is going on?
I don't know, because it's not my show.
Right.
I'm an audience member. I kind of thought you knew what was going on.
What else do you want to talk about? See,
what else is going? Barry Katz, my manager, had the most amazing point. Hey, man. Had the best point about Stephen Wright. He's the only comic in the history of comedy.
In the history of comedy. See, I just stole your
good.
I just stole it.
There's no stealing impressions.
Yes, there is.
No, there's not.
You don't think so?
Absolutely not.
All right.
Unless it's the same words.
And I do this impression now, too.
No, yours is Jewish.
I just got this low.
Not the voice, just your face and shoulders. Are you Jewish?
No. I didn't mean to say it like that, but I just.
You were like, yuck.
Yuck. No. Yuck. No.
That's some more quotes. Are you Jewish? All capitals. No. Yuck. Exclamation point.
I'm an honorary Jew. I can out-Jew most Jews.
Are you circumcised?
Yep.
Jewish.
I'm in the covenant.
Me too.
Of course you are. You don't have to tell me you're circumcised.
I had my son circumcised when he was 2 months old, and it was by a mohel at UCLA.
Did he bite it?
No. I wish. Hey, wait, the babies are mine. And he said, your son is the penis of a 2-year-old. And I say on stage, that's the only time that's ever been a compliment. Is on a 2-month-old when he says it. But listen.
He's the penis of a 2-year-old.
What else?
I just found out that I have the penis of a 2-year-old. It's pretty fun to do.
Yeah, it's good. It's a good exercise, too, because you have to remove everything from your body.
I just have to take everything out of my body.
You do that good body that he does.
I do it a little bit like I'm from Boston. I kind of lost it as soon as I got confident.
Powdered water. The worst is when you see guys do impressions and they're actually doing the comedian's jokes from the person's act.
Oh, yeah.
Like if a guy's on stage doing Stephen Wright going, I bought powdered water, but I didn't know what to add, so I threw it out. And you're like, no, that's Stephen. That is Stephen Wright.
I'm a C-section. You can't tell, except every once in a while when I leave the house, I go out the window.
Every once in a while, I stick my head out the window and I look at the sky and I smile for satellite photos. My favorite Stephen Wright thing in the world is he went like weird, outside of his comfort zone on his last special, which was a couple of years ago at this point, was when he goes, I used to work at a planetarium in Toronto. And like just that sentence alone, you're like, no, this is too bizarre. Like him working in a planetarium.
Yeah.
Like with Stephen Wright, that sentence is like the world's your oyster.
Right? Yes.
And he goes, we had a softball team. We'd practice at night inside the planetarium. The first baseman would stand under Mercury. The second baseman would stand under Venus. The shortstop would stand under Earth. And the third baseman would stand under Mars. Like, line them all up. He goes, but it's like, oh, you're looking at me like, what is happening? Exactly. Yeah. And then he goes, then we had our first game and we lost because we were all standing way too far apart. It was like the craziest joke that was not like one of his jokes.
Yeah.
Because he's like line. And it was this whole story about working in a planetarium, and we played other planetariums in Toronto. Like, wait, there's more than one planetarium in Toronto? It was like there was a planetarian.
You could hear all the gears
turning. A softball planetarium league that he created in his mind, which I love. It's just so great.
It's so weird. When you see him live, you actually fall into a rhythm where people just laugh. I'm not saying they're not laughing, but you could almost stop listening and you'll just keep laughing because he pauses and you get into this like trance almost.
He really is one of the greatest that we've ever had.
He's great.
And Barry Katz, what I was going to say real quick, we got to get back to grown-ups eating candy because it's too good of a topic.
I know.
He said he's the only comic ever that started at a 2,000-seat theater 25 years ago.
Yeah.
And has never not played 2,000-seat theaters. He never did a sitcom.
Yeah.
He never did movies. He never went to the Improv in Brea.
And where's he now?
He never.
Remember that movie?
Yeah. He won a fucking Academy Award.
You gonna let him talk to me that way? That's what he did.
He was never at Vegas. What am I supposed to say, Pete Holmes? That in Las Vegas, I'm going to be at the South Point Casino March 16th, 17th. Is that what I'm supposed to say?
Just now?
South Point Casino.
Trying to find a way to plug?
What am I supposed to be, Chris Sarandon in Dog Day Afternoon? You want to talk to him? You talk to him. He'll kill me. I'm at the South Point Casino, March 16th and 17th. Come out and see a good show. You're killing everyone around you, Leon. Babies eating candy bothers me, too. It seems that urban markets, I was at Burbank Airport about to get on a plane to do a show, a quick corporate gig.
Yeah.
A black child, 1 year old. I asked, how old is your child?
Can I see his dick?
What?
I want to compare it to my child.
I tripped over it.
Oh, now we're going with that stereotype. Newport cigarettes, big dicks.
Rick, I think you killed him, man. That escalated quickly. I said he was 1 and he had a fucking lollipop. My son is going to be 2 in a couple months.
And he's got a big dick.
He doesn't know. All he knows is what grapes taste like, watermelon, fruits. I had to pull it. I had to edit watermelon because your mind was still on fucking Newports and big dicks. You asshole. Now you're in my head.
I've infected you.
Like a goddamn virus video game. Like, have you played Plague where Pete Holmes fucks up your bit? I'm like, my son, all he knows is what watermelon tastes like. And I'm like, don't say watermelon. It's too close to Newports and big dicks. I pulled it. I
was going off 1 year old dick, not black dick.
He doesn't
clear
eat,
about
my
that.
baby doesn't eat candy, and if he wants a treat, it's an actual like oatmeal cookie.
Sure.
But I've noticed a lot of
Although I have a problem with the refined sugar in the oatmeal cookie. I'd like to talk to your wife.
Okay.
I'd like to take her in the car so she associates driving with oatmeal cookies.
That's wow. You have been seeing Dr. Vinny Boombots. What was his name?
Jimmy Vivino.
Jimmy. Thank you. You're very well done. Very well.
You're so well.
I would like to take your wife home and actually have sex with her, talk about oatmeal cookies, so that whenever she thinks of cookies, she actually gets a little bit of a flow going and thinks of Pete Holmes.
What about children in horror movies? I saw Paranorman Activity too. And there was a baby there. Like they took a baby.
I see a lot of babies at the movies, which is weird because I only watch them at home on Netflix. So it's weird that I see babies sitting on my house, black babies eating lollipops at 1.
No, I didn't say a black baby.
I'm just keep putting more and more in the basket and see what it'll hold. So you walk out here with the seams bursting of comedy, Pete Holmes.
That's what we're looking for.
You Made It Weird podcast. Go to iTunes and subscribe to Pete's podcast.
That's the great thing about my podcast is if it gets weird, like it has with all these riffs that we've been doing right now.
I think so.
Everybody go, well, in a good way.
Yeah.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Electric.
I say funny.
Engaged.
Yes.
Funny.
Electric.
Sensationalized.
Yes.
Sportscasterly.
But your point being?
That everyone's like, that's the name of the show.
You made it weird.
The name of this show is?
More Stories.
Oh.
My name?
This was the mustache.
That's the name of the network.
Oh.
Like you're on Nerdist.
Yeah, I was
Crab
worried.
Feast is on Fake Mustache Studios.
I was worried that you were gonna. I was actually worried that you were gonna tell me to tell stories, and I was like, I don't really have stories.
I don't give a shit what you do. Just come and have a good time is what I always say.
That's
it's like,
what I say.
You don't have to dress up. You
don't dress up.
But you're a tech person.
Woman.
You and I have been trying to get this together for so long, and you're like, oh, my tech. You texted me, tech guy.
You texted
I'll
me.
show you.
You son of
tech guy.
You came in here. I can't do it.
The plan of a little boy.
Of a little boy.
You wrote it down in the back of a matchbook.
Do you have sheets
just
to
doing
cover?
Copland?
I'm trying.
Were you really pulling Copland?
Oh, I love Copland.
A fucking Nerdist guy is pulling Copland references?
Sure.
I love it.
And I'm fingering a girl under the I'm like you guys. Yeah, you finger a girl and you watch Copland. More Stories, Mustache Network. Get a tattoo of a football on your football. Fuck you. People at home are laughing. There's no way. He's laughing too. You're making a face like that wasn't funny and that was fucking great. Get a tattoo of a football on your football. This jock network. Are you drawing a 0 from me? It's a face. It's a smiley face.
I just wanted you to die for a minute out on the fucking vine.
Oh, you got my adrenaline going.
You were really afraid, like, wow, I really... I just wanted you to die.
God, I jumped off the riffing cliff, and you just what? You were like, "We're gonna jump on."
I like that. I like everyone on my network talks like Dice and Gilbert Gottfried combined.
Yeah.
We're fingering chicks under the table. That's your impression of everyone on my network.
You're either
fingering
Nerdist.
chicks. Hold on, fingering chicks under the table and getting tattoos of footballs on our footballs, which I think would be